I heard an almighty crash and a scream. My baby. I went to the top of the stairs to see what was going on and found my little sister crumpled at the bottom of the stairs, arm twist wrong.
What happened?
I accidentally broke John's toy box and he pushed me down the stairs.
Oh no, we've let this go too far. Jean, you take Alina to the hospital. I'll deal with John. I didn't say anything. My dad packed my suitcase and then took me to my grandma's house. I got out of the car and let them drive away.
Johnny, is that you?
Yes, Grandma, it's me. No matter how many cookies Grandma gave me, I still felt rotten. My parents didn't want me. My sister was and I didn't know what my life was going to look like from here on out. 2 years after dropping me off, my grandma died. My name is John, and my story starts when I was 10 years old. My little sister was 8, and she was spoiled. She was given everything she wanted at the drop of a hat. My mom and dad ran after her all the time, never saying no to her. By the time she was 8, she was utterly ruined. She screamed the moment she thought she was going to be denied something. She broke my toys if she thought they were nicer than hers, even though they never were. She put my baby blanket in the blender, my childhood teddy in the campfire, and any action figures I had were mutilated. I told my parents that she was destroying my stuff, but they brushed it off, saying it was simply sibling rivalry.
Stop trying to get your sister in trouble, John. You're the older sibling. You have to be the better person.
But being the better person had no benefits. I just had to continually suffer. It was utterly miserable. That is, until my birthday. I'd made an agreement with my parents several months before. If I can save up a quarter of the cost, they will buy me the big new console. I had taken up washing cars and mowing lawns, as well as helping around the house. For those 6 months, I worked and studied and barely had a moment to be near my sister. That, it turned out, was a bad idea. John, old champ, your birthday is right around the corner. How are you feeling? Any idea where we go for food?
I want to go to Burger Room.
We'll go for your birthday, Poppet, but this time it's John's.
No. I want Burger Room. I want.
I was impressed that they'd said now, but my shoulders had already dropped. I knew that if she was putting up a fuss, it was just a matter of time before I was going to be pushed aside. Now, dear, don't you want your brother to enjoy his special day?
No.
My dad just laughed. I decided to agree to Burger Room just to make things easier, but it didn't. My sister bugged my parents in the days leading up for her own gifts. When they tried to reason with her, she got mean. She threw her dolls out of the window and blamed me.
I think he's just acting out.
No matter how often I tried to convince them I wasn't doing anything wrong, they wouldn't believe me. When my birthday came, I couldn't even muster up the excitement. Come on, John. Why the long face? You can't be sad on your own birthday.
Yeah, John. It's your birthday. You should be happy.
She had a nasty glint in her eye that I didn't trust for 1 second. She was trying to get me in trouble, but I don't know how. We ate burgers, but my sister stole my fries. We ordered ice cream, but she poured salt on mine. When the cake came out, she blew on the candles. And then, when the gifts came, she had more than me. We just didn't want her to feel left out. I understand. Thanks, Dad. She opened gift after gift, and I knew immediately that my parents had spent more money on her than they had me. I felt spoiled just comparing, but it was supposed to be my special day. One day a year where I got to have their attention on me. My sister kicked me under the table the whole time while I was opening my gifts. I got a t-shirt for a band I'd never heard of, a gift voucher for a bookstore, and a pencil case with a character I didn't care for. The gifts were more in line with what you would buy for the child of a distant friend, not a son. But I didn't say anything. My heart sank. All that work, and for nothing. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. I love it.
Yeah. My stuff is so great. I love my new dolls and my beautiful new dollhouse. You're the best.
In the car on the way back from the restaurant, I tried not to be too obviously sad. They had tried. I couldn't blame them for that. Though as we parked up, I wondered if it would be rude to ask for the money I had earned back. By the time I got inside, I decided maybe I should give it a day. Wait, John, before you go to your room, will you help me clean the kitchen? Clean the kitchen? He'd never asked me to do that before. But as my mom ushered my sister upstairs, I followed my dad into the kitchen. On the table, next to a small cupcake, but a huge box. I know your sister can be very demanding sometimes, so we wanted to do this for you. I was so heartwarmed that I didn't know what to say. I threw myself at my dad and gave him the biggest hug I've ever given anyone before. He lit the candle, and I got to blow it out. Then, I tore into the box. It was the game console I wanted. That was the last time in a long time that I got to feel happy. That night, I went to bed after plugging my new console in. When I got home from school the next day, I was so excited to play my game. My classmates all had the console too. We were going to meet online and play for hours and hours until bedtime. But when I got home, my console was broken. It was smashed up and the insides of it were outside. I knew it was my sister who did it. Alina! Alina appeared in front of me, grinning.
Yes?
You broke it. How could you? I'm telling Mom and Dad.
Fine.
I felt like I was walking into a trap. Fine?
Fine. You tell them I broke it, and I'll tell them you pushed me down the stairs.
But I didn't.
But I'll make it look like you did.
That's blackmail.
I know. I looked it up. And if you don't clean my room every day for the next month, I'll tell them you hit me all the time. And that's why I'm acting out.
I could see it all playing out in my head. Her accusing me. My parents kicking me out. They'd never take my side over hers. They knew she was awful, but I don't think they really understood. From that day on, I had to clean my sister's room. She'd spill drinks on the floor or knock over her bin on purpose, and if I ever looked like I was going to complain, she'd remind me that I was minutes away from being left out in the cold.
Clean up that mess. Wash the windows. Vacuum the carpet.
Every day, I got angrier and angrier. She had taken away the one thing I was looking forward to the most. After that, I didn't see anything I was excited for. So, I stopped going into her room.
You're supposed to be cleaning my room.
I don't care. She left with a stamp of her foot, and a minute later, I heard an almighty crash and a scream. My baby. I went to the top of the stairs to see what was going on and found my little sister crumpled at the bottom of the stairs, arm twist wrong.
What happened?
I accidentally broke John's toy box and he pushed me down the stairs.
Oh no, we've let this go too far. Jean, you take Alina to the hospital. I'll deal with John. I didn't say anything. My dad packed my suitcase and then took me to my grandma's house. I got out of the car and let them drive away.
Johnny, is that you?
Yes, Grandma, it's me. I cried and cried and cried. No matter how many cookies Grandma gave me, I still felt rotten. My parents didn't want me. My sister was ill, and I didn't know what my life was going to look like from here on out. 2 years after dropping me off, my grandma died. She was old and sick and had never legally taken custody of me. So when she died, I was left in her house alone because no one knew to look after me. And then I stayed in school. I thought about what I'd given up. That day I refused to give in to my sister. I thought about it, refused to target it, and worked. At school, I got on the honor roll. I worked hard, kept working hard, and then continued to work hard, even when I got into university. Congratulations to John Wilczuk. I graduated and then got out and opened my own car shop. I bought a nice house, met a good woman, and had a baby. I made friends with the locals, got steady business, and even managed to buy my first supercar. On the day I took it out for a drive, it was my 25th birthday. I'd arranged with my employees to take the day off, and they were more than happy to cover me. I was driving down the street when a car suddenly veered into my lane and crashed straight into my car. The first thing I did was jump out of the car and run over to their car. Hey, are you okay?
Oh my God, you destroyed my car.
I did? You're the one that veered into my lane.
I'm calling the police.
The police arrived on the scene not much later and arranged to have both the cars taken to my store. John, hey, how are you doing, my man? Any injuries? Just to my car. It was brand new. These out-of-towners are wild.
Whose side are you on?
Miss, you're under arrest for reckless driving. John, if you want to join us downtown, we can help you file charges.
But he broke my car.
Miss, we have camera footage that says otherwise. They read her rights as our cars were towed away. My poor car barely got to take her first steps because some random lady went and ruined it. Except, she wasn't random. At the station, the officer told me what a strange coincidence it was that we had the same name. What's her first name? Alina. It was my sister. I went into the interrogation room to talk to her. Alina.
How do you know my name?
It's me, John, your brother. She smiled, relieved, but I couldn't fathom why. You're going to pay for every single penny of that car that you broke today.
My husband will pay for it, though I don't know why you wouldn't let me off. I'm your sister.
Maybe so, but only in name. You're nothing to me. And your husband told the officer that called that he was done with you. So, here are your options. Either you go to prison and earn the money for my car for as long as you're there, or you can work for me.
Work for you?
I have a family now, and my wife works hard. She doesn't have time to keep up menial tasks around the house. I think it's time for us to hire a cleaner. And what better than someone who will work for free?
Free? That's slavery.
No, it's not. You're paying off damages, and you can either do that in prison or in my house. Your choice. I walked out of the room and asked the officers to give me her answer for tomorrow. She needed time to sit and think. The next evening, I got a call. My sister had made her decision. She had been handed the divorce papers and left absolutely penniless. Alongside owing me money, she now had to pay her husband damages. She was absolutely awful, hot, but spoiled. Not worth the effort. She was dropped off at my door, and my wife immediately set her to work. Alina cleaned up after dinner, took out bags of diapers, washed the windows, vacuumed the floor, and cleaned up every mess we made. A few days later, I hosted a party. Not just any party, one attended by people from our childhood. Former friends, family members, even my parents, who had long since regretted their favoritism, but were too ashamed to reach out. Alina was required to serve drinks and clean up after everyone. Her former friends whispered and giggled, some taking pictures as she scrubbed plates. The ultimate social downfall. As she carried a tray, one of my employees accidentally bumped into her. The tray clattered to the floor, drinks spilling everywhere.
You did that on purpose.
Maybe, but you deserve it, don't you? Alina fumed but stayed silent. She had no choice. I owned her debt, and she had to work it off. But the final blow? I had her sign legal papers ensuring she would pay me back for the damages, including emotional distress. My lawyer made sure it was airtight.
This isn't fair. I was just a kid back then.
And now you're an adult facing consequences. Her husband had divorced her. She was broke, and now she was legally bound to pay me every last cent. She had spent her life being spoiled. Now, she would spend the rest of it repaying what she took from me. Revenge had never tasted sweeter. Thanks for watching.